Alright guys, once again here we are back at it, one more video again. Why I hate Nintendo now, okay? So this is how to game saying how I hate Nintendo now. Like I said, I got a good amount of views, but we know in the era we are in right now in 2026, it is basically called the you call it the era where you got a lot of Nintendo hate YouTubers. As Alo said too, and he's correct. And I said it really correct. You got a lot of rage baiters now because they want to seem one, they want to seem cool, they want to seem hip, and they're part of the crew. And there's other people who just run with the nonsense. Now, I have no problem with independent thinking. If your independent thinking does not follow everybody else's usual crap. This person has a video. He said, "I hate Nintendo now." He said, "You don't play." Will Stewart, it is. Does he follow the usual? Here's the thing. I like a lot of these people always say they're independent thinkers, quotation marks, but they use the same points as everybody else. They follow the trend. As I said. But let us see. Let us see what this person is all about. It's about a 25-minute video. Hopefully, I will get through this, but we'll see where this go and go from there. All right.
So recently, I've been making a lot of videos about how I don't like the Nintendo Switch 2 and
There we go. You have to make a bunch of videos about how I don't like the Nintendo Switch 2. There you go. We already don't have that. And also, there's a video on my channel. I'm working on a video right now. So this it's not been done, but another YouTuber, I'm gonna do a video. Responding well, but it's not a response anyway. He says something which I like, and I'm gonna bring up to it. It's positive stuff. I ain't gonna put all negative stuff on this channel, like I always say. Why gaming has become what it is. I've been calling it out for the last 10 plus years, but there's a reason why gaming come the way it is, because a lot of people say that. Even the one with the wizard, where he literally talked, the two videos, the long form videos you're gonna see from him, one of course with the PlayStation, the other one with that was like, you basically proving my point. And it's funny, y'all don't like this, but y'all do exactly the same thing anyway. But I digress.
why I think it's going to fail, and why I think
it's gonna
Nintendo
fail?
is particularly greedy this console generation.
Compared
But
to
the
what?
other day I realized that I haven't really made a video about why I don't like Nintendo, and if you look at my channel
Yeah.
over the past few months, my take on this company has changed pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
So today I just kind of wanted to make
Let's see if you have independent thoughts or you're following everybody else and just making a video just to get clicks. We'll see.
a more open commentary video with less cuts and talk about
see.
why I don't really like Nintendo anymore, because I used to be one of their biggest fans up until recently, and I have some really good reasons for why I just don't
Really?
really like this company anymore. So feel free to just play this video in the background.
Yeah, if it's preferential stuff, I get it, and I'll say I can't argue preferential stuff. But I gotta hear the reason why, and I'm like, really? Compared to what? Sony, Microsoft? What? That's always the argument. The argument people got is, you say this compared to what? They're worse than the competition? Okay. Let's hear what you gotta say. How to game.
I'm not really going to put any graphics on screen, just some gameplay of whatever I'm playing. It might not even be a Nintendo game. So first I want to talk about what kind of Nintendo fan I was before the Switch 2, and why I suddenly just don't like the Switch 2, because if you look at my past content and my current content, they kind of conflict on what I think of this company as a whole.
Okay.
So my first console was a 2DS, and I really enjoyed that thing. My favorite games were Animal Crossing New Leaf, New Super Mario Bros. 2, Mario Kart 7, and there were a couple other ones, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. And eventually I did get a Switch, and I've basically played that until the Switch 2 came out. I've been more of a casual gamer as far as my play style, but I did watch a lot of Nintendo content on YouTube, so I might be a little more than a casual gamer.
Now, it depends on what you are watching. Were you watching good content or were you watching bullshit content? But again, let's hear what it's saying.
But I still don't sink tons of hours into video games.
Okay.
And for me, the end of the Switch's lifetime was really kind of depressing, not because it was a bad console or the games that were coming out were bad, but it really felt like Nintendo was trying to stretch this thing out as far as they could before their next set of hardware came out, which is the Switch 2 as we know now. But I did have a few games that I enjoyed when they came out, like Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Super Mario Party Jamboree. I thought both those games were great, although neither of them are what I would have expected Nintendo to make, so they did do good on that front. But that period felt really, really slow because of all the Switch 2 leaks, and then no announcements, and then more Switch 2 leaks, and then no announcements, and it felt like Nintendo was waiting as long as they possibly could to unveil the Switch 2. Like in September of 2024, it just felt like Nintendo was going to announce this thing. There's no way they weren't. They announced the original Switch, I believe in October of 2016, so it just made sense for them to announce the Switch, and then crickets all the way up until January of 2025 when they finally drop a trailer. And I was excited to see the Switch 2 finally, but it looked just like the leaks, exactly how everyone expected it to look, with the same name that everybody had called it for years.
Okay.
And it didn't feel like a super exciting trailer to me, and this is kind of where I started to not feel as excited about this console, but I was still excited to see info because, no games had been announced at that point. We just saw a few seconds of Mario Kart World, and that was it. And we were promised a direct on April 2nd. And after this trailer was revealed is when I started grinding on my YouTube channel. I'd had it for years before, but I never really took it seriously up until this point, and I started making a ton of videos, a lot of speculation between when the Switch 2 trailer was dropped and then the April 2nd Direct aired. And as you all know, the Switch 2 Direct was kind of underwhelming, but it felt really good when I was actually watching it. Mario Kart World actually looked like an amazing game, but that's because I only saw a few minutes of footage of it, not all of it, which was gameplay footage, and it looked really cool. Open world sounds amazing, which, of course, it didn't turn out to be as amazing as Nintendo hyped it up to be, which the hype factor is something that I'll talk about in a few minutes here after I'm done talking about why I don't really like the Switch 2. And it did feel like Nintendo was trying to jam a whole bunch of third-party announcements into this Direct, because the only real substance that we got from that Direct were Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, but it didn't really matter to me. I was on a hype cycle at this point. I had wanted a new console for quite a while. I had just bought a PS5 that December before because I was so tired of the Switch, and I really wanted something new. So I was...
You are a casual gamer for real. That's just what that's the reason why you buy a PlayStation 5, not because of not because of the games, not because there's something you want to play. Just because you were tired of the Nintendo Switch. Wow. All right. Like I said, I only bought it when I figured out, I have about 10 games plus that I'm gonna buy, and once I figured out that was the game I'm gonna buy, then I bought it. Like I said, I did in my little video. If it ain't 10 games, I'm not buying a console except for Nintendo. Because again, I am a Nintendo fan. That's my bias. I get that. Not gonna knock about it. Again, like I said, there's no such thing as unbiased. Everybody has a bias. But objectively speaking, I know what games I want to get with a Nintendo console, so I know, hey, I'm gonna be there. PlayStation. I never bought a PlayStation 3, no 4, got a 5, got a Portal, but how that is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a review about that Portal thing as well too. I digress.
Just taking whatever they were giving me at that point. And subsequently, because I was on that hype cycle, I made a ton of videos glazing Nintendo. I'll flash a few on screen. They sound really crazy now that the dust has settled. I even made one saying that I thought Mario Kart Worlds was going to be worth $80, which, speaking of which, it really was annoying me that people were saying Mario Kart Worlds was going to be $90 because I genuinely believed that the physical version was going to cost me $90, and I am somebody who collects physical versions when I can. I don't like digital games, so the idea that I would have to pay $90 to get a physical copy of Mario Kart World sounded absolutely insane to me. Like, what is Nintendo doing? But then I found out that was misinformation that was milked so hard by people, and it felt like the haters were actually going out of their way to actually spread real misinformation, and that's one reason that I started glazing.
You know what? Glazing. So all my videos of debunking people saying stupid stuff and stuff is glazing? Nah, just being factual. You were just being factual, but you call it glazing. Okay. All right.
Nintendo like crazy.
Okay.
As June 5th comes, the Switch 2 comes out, I get the Switch 2, and I get Mario Kart World, and I pay $80 for it, keep in mind, because I'm a physical collector. And this is basically the last positive moment that I have with Nintendo, is enjoying the new console, playing Mario Kart World, and enjoying it because I was a Nintendo glazer. I thought that Nintendo could do no wrong, which I completely disagree with now after I had played that, and I also played Donkey Kong Bonanza when it came out. And for the next few months, I kept making videos about how I liked the Switch 2 and why I thought it was such a great console.
Okay.
And this was because I thought Nintendo was still going to continue supplying great games because I thought Mario Kart World was at least substantial enough.
Mark. Okay, great games. Okay, there are a lot of games out there, but okay.
Enough to make the Switch 2 feel good at launch, though I thought $80 was way too much for it, and I really wouldn't have paid that going back.
Okay.
But regardless, I kept making speculation content about I thought Nintendo was going to make a ton of great games. You can look back on my channel if you want to see exactly what those are. And the September Direct comes, and Nintendo does not meet expectations. This Direct was supposed to have a whole bunch of great new games. I mean, we have a new console. It's supposed to be filled with great exclusives. We should see 3D Mario, Animal Crossing, Mario
Whoa. You really are casual. What? No, those things take a time. And again, well, it can explain this to you because, as you just said, you were getting bored by Nintendo Switch anyway. Because I'm not bored with Nintendo Switch. I'm still playing Nintendo Switch games myself. Because I have over 200 Nintendo Switch games to play. But with that said, you had a backlog that you play. You have any games you could play. But if you want to buy Nintendo games to buy Nintendo games, again, you still have a backlog to play and everything. But okay, your preference didn't go with that. They basically laid out the games that was gonna come out. And let's be honest, sir, to anybody else, the Switch One. The Switch One was the number one, like I said, the only console that had the greatest launch year than anybody because of how many games came out and how many games went sort of a million within the year. Now, would you get it with anybody, any other console could do that? No, they can't. No, they're not. There's another console that has that pedigree. And I said before, and you could go back to my channel if you're new to this thing. I said the Switch 2 ain't gonna have the same category as the Switch One. That was a one in a lifetime situation to prove that they still got it, and they did it. This time again, Nintendo went back to something that I didn't like, try to help out third parties as best as they can. And like I said, respect to CD Projekt Red with 'cause a lot of people did like Cyberpunk 2027 and they bought it. Good for them. Not against that or whatever. But there are games that are it's still, let's put it again. Sony last year only had 2 exclusives. Ghost of Tsushima and the one with the baby in Kojima's game. Strange, because I really don't know about the game to really play the game. But Kojima's game. That's it. That's all it was. Everything else was not exclusive. While Nintendo had not only exclusive from the Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles X as well, but they had Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Zelda, Hyrule Warriors, Pokemon, they had Pokemon. So again, let me say Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and I won't count Drive, and all that stuff. They have 5 exclusives. Exclusive that were like, big title type style of game. Now you could add also Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. You may even add on that too, but I'm just saying they had exclusives than any other console. Xbox barely had any, and PlayStation barely had any. But again, that's comparing 2 consoles. Now that's apple to apples because there were not many exclusives on the other consoles. But again,
or something like that. But we just see Mario Tennis, an overpriced bundle of Mario Galaxy, and not
an overpriced bundle. Says the person who say he likes physical. Again, this is the way y'all. This is how stupid y'all is. I really don't understand that. An overpriced bundle. You could have go get a Wii. If you ain't got a Wii, you said you bought a 2DS. You said that's where you started, right? Go buy a Wii. Go buy a Mario Galaxy 1, Mario Galaxy 2, which are the best way to play that game, in my opinion. I'm not going to deny that on the Wii. On a Wii or Wii U. And play it. And see how much money you're going to spend. Are you going to spend $80? Are you going to spend $60? Are you going to spend $50? I don't think so. But let's go with the nonsense.
much else that's really interesting. And Nintendo is revealing the movie, which I'm still excited for the movie. The movie looks good. I'll watch that because I think that the first one was really good, and I do think that Illumination knows what they're doing, even if they do play things really safe. I think that the content is good. But Nintendo is just putting a whole bunch of filler that should have been like in a separate presentation or something. Like the movie, Nintendo really never spent time showing off a trailer in one of their previous directs. The most that they went, I believe in 2021 when they announced the movie, they showed off the actors who were going to be in, the first movie, and that's it. But this time around they had filler content. It was just like products, like a talking flower toy, a book, the Rosalina book from Super Mario Galaxy, Virtual Boy, which nobody asked for. It sounds cool, but nobody asked for it, and
nobody asked for it, but people will still want to get it though. How much you want to bet?
I don't really want to play games in red and black, honestly.
Okay.
It just doesn't sound fun.
That's
it
for
sounds
you.
like
That's
it'd
preference.
be cool to try, but I'm not paying $100 to get a headset for this. Like,
Well,
what
good.
are you thinking?
That's
And
good.
looking back, I was a bit excited for this headset, but I don't even think I'm excited for it at all because if you haven't noticed something about Nintendo, it's that they're really good at hyping up mediocre things. Like, they made the Virtual Boy Virtual Console one of the most low-effort things they could have done sound cool. But by this point, the Virtual Boy...
The Virtual Console is... And then go back to and go back to my video about what was his name is. Go back to Real Life Wizard, and he wants the virtual console. See what I'm saying? How can Nintendo make stuff when y'all just you can't make anybody happy? You just can't. That's what it is. You just can't.
Nintendo Classics. I think I said Virtual Console before, but that's actually what was on the 3DS and the Wii U when you bought the old Nintendo games. That's when those old Nintendo games were actually packaged well. Now they're just on Switch Online, and I would prefer to go back to where we can buy the games we want instead of being forced to subscribe to something, but I guess we're past that at this point. But anyway,
Okay, then
Nintendo was
company?
hyping up this Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics, and the internet was not buying it. The Switch 2 had already been a train wreck by that point, and Nintendo acting like the Virtual Boy was actually one of their biggest announcements just felt like adding insult to injury. People had paid for this $450 console, and even Nintendo fans were mad because they're not delivering on this great investment price that Nintendo is charging. They're just announcing the bare minimum,
Which
doing
is?
the safest thing possible by announcing Mario Tennis, announcing Fire Emblem, and then making trailers for Metroid Prime 4, a game that should have been released years ago at this point, although I do know it had difficulties in development, so
Yeah.
I won't ding Nintendo there. And all of the stuff that was announced required purchasing extremely expensive stuff just to play it. Like
Really?
Mario Tennis, it looks cool. I actually am kind of excited for that game. But I don't know if I'll pay $70 for it. I mean, I have this Switch 2 lying around that I kind of, want to use, but I can't really use it because Nintendo isn't even making something that's worth the price.
Huh?
And not too long after, I started to make more videos criticizing Nintendo, and you guys enjoyed those, so I just kept making them.
There you go. There you go. Bing! What did I say? See, I don't do videos for views. I don't. I say my content to say what I gotta say. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it. It is what it is. But I'm not doing my videos for no views. Alright? Even though I have a lot of views on this channel, on a lot of things. There's things that pops right off. There's things that don't pop right off. I have, but I put a video by Nintendo should fail. And I will do it. I think I'll do an experiment on that. I will do an experiment on that and see what happens. I don't think it'll work, but I'll try it anyway and see what happens. I'll do a video on that because that's needed. But you just proved my point. You did it because you wanted your views and you're enjoying them. Like, look, please. I put videos up there. There's videos I got like 5 views and whatever, and I'm like, it is what it is. Because I don't want to make money off of this thing, 1 and 2 and all. Like I said, I just don't want to put that much time in this. You're hearing stuff in the background. You're hearing keywords because I'm doing this while working. I'm not doing this to make money. You get my honest opinion on things, and we go from there.
And the way YouTube's algorithm works, once you start making one thing, it's really, really hard to pivot. So
No,
that's
it's
why
not.
I haven't made, more positive content. The other reason being Nintendo
At least you told the truth. At least you told the truth. I can't argue with that. At least you told the truth. I give you that credit, my boy. But this is why y'all game was destroy this hobby. It just is. Cloud chasing is a hell of a drug. It's a crack and cocaine. Is that? Then don't do crack and cocaine. But cloud chasing, yeah, it's a hell of a drug.
really hasn't given me anything good to work with
Really?
because I mean, it's been super underwhelming. I apologize if you hear dogs barking in the background.
It's all right,
But
bro.
anyway, Nintendo, not too long after the September Direct, announced a free update for Animal Crossing New Horizons,
Yeah.
and then a $5 Switch 2 edition that basically just enhances the graphics and doesn't really do too much else. I'm really confused by why Nintendo is even charging for this, but I mean, I shouldn't even be confused anymore because this company has gone so far off what they used to be, and it's really frustrating. But you might think a free update sounds great. I mean, it's free content. Nintendo's actually giving us something for once. And
For
I would
once.
kind of agree with you, but at the same time, Animal Crossing New Horizons is probably one of the most overrated games ever, and I was obsessed with Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Then you just said you wanted a new Animal Crossing game, and the one that sold the most out of everything, since you're a casual gamer, you're not a hardcore gamer, you're a casual gamer. I don't understand people sometimes. I don't. Some people, I think the fluid, I forgot what you call that. Um, the fluidity of thought doesn't register with a lot of people when they're saying stuff. I think that's what it is. I really do think that.
On the 3DS, so I'm not just one of those people who bought New Horizons because it was COVID. I bought it because I was actually a fan of the series and I wanted to play the next game, but
Okay.
I just don't think there was enough content there. And then Nintendo was like drip feeding with updates, and they got rid of a ton of the characters that were there. The deserted island concept is honestly just kind of. The deserted island concept is honestly just kind of lacking. It's not really that exciting, and the villagers just feel like they have more generic things that they're saying than they used to, and they're nice all the time. They're never mad. So if you're an Animal Crossing fan, you probably know what I'm talking about, but
Okay.
if you're not, I mean, you might have to go play it and then go play New Leaf or something else.
Okay, I'm not an Animal Crossing fan. Not saying I'm not against the game. It's not my cup of tea personally, but hey, people, it still was the most. See, you could say what you just said. It's just like the Mario paper people. I like Sticker Star. People are like, oh, I like Sticker Star. I like Super Paper Mario. Those were games that got me into it, and that made me went and buy a Color Splash, and that made me go buy Ogami King, and now a Thousand Year Door. Like that made me go back and buy these games happily because I like the difference in it, and I like the concept. Heck, I'm a Metroid purist. And when they did Metroid Federation Force, which is something that, on paper, people like you would say, well, you should hate that game. I saw it for what it was. And like the game for what it was. Metroid Pinball was the same thing too. It's a pinball game, but they did a damn good job of making it work. Excuse me. So again, with the negativity, I don't get it. No, like I said, you already at least you don't commit to say that you're doing this just because your videos get more views. So by being negative, so hey, there you go.
Just to see what I'm talking about. But to sum up what I'm saying about New Horizons is Nintendo should just abandon this game already. It's just so boring. I don't really want a new update because it's just not a good game. I'd rather them just
Okay, then if that's the idea and you think it's a bad game, right? You already bought it, then whatever, move on. I mean, it took 9 years to get a Metroid game. Metroid Prime, I should say. I ain't gonna say Metroid for the announcement. There's been a Metroid Dread came out. It's like, yeah, it takes a while to do certain things. That's why I like all types of games. I am a Metroid purist, like I said, to the thick and thin. But Metroid is not the only game I'm playing. I play casual game. I play a fighting game. Play a fighting game. I play RPGs. I play all types of games. If you just play one type of game, have your fun. Don't get me wrong, have your fun. But to me, that's a boring existing just to play one type of game and that's it. That's why it's so funny when a lot of gamers get burned out. Like, oh, I play Fortnite, and then they were like, oh, gaming is boring. Yeah, because you played one game. There's so many different types of games out there. Metroid style games, 2D games, fighting games, beat 'em up games, hack and slash games. I mean, look in the video I just released just a while ago with that I bought from VGP, saying the games I just bought. All those games are different genres. A Metroid style game, Castlevania Dominus, a platforming game, which is Rocket Knight Adventures, Shinobi hack and slash 2D game, then a strategy shooting game, Valkyrie Chronicles Complete Edition, then a platform RPG style game. What was it again? I forgot the name of the tank, but the third version. Like, it's all the games are different. Go to my Christmas haul video. All the games are different. Majority of different games, different genre, different consoles. Seriously.
Only make a sequel, but like I said, Nintendo is just taking the safest route possible this generation, and a free update to get people playing New Horizons, and then in turn buy the $5 Switch 2 edition, which is insanely confusing about why they're even charging for that at that point. Like, put all this new content in the Switch 2 edition and charge $10 to $20 for it, and it would make at least some sense, but I don't even get what Nintendo is doing here, and it just feels so confusing. And then one other thing I have to talk about, because we've basically caught up to real time, besides the fact that Nintendo just announced new Joy-Con colors, which I have a video coming on the...
For you guys who want that, Joy-Con colors, whoopee, don't care. My Joy-Cons are working right now, and that's all I care. So yeah.
Because there's a whole other thing about what's going on with those that I just need to talk about. But Nintendo Glazers have been the other issue with this company. Even though it's quite obvious that Nintendo is screwing up a lot of stuff, frankly, and kind of letting their business side flow into their actual gaming side. And then they're spending all this time on Nintendo versus Palworld, which we still have yet to figure out what's going on with that. I think Nintendo will lose, but I made a video on why I think they could win. Not because I want them to win, but because I honestly think that Nintendo has more resources than people realize. But the worst part of all this is that Nintendo Glazers have literally not given Nintendo what they deserve by saying, hey, you're doing something wrong here. Instead, they're on like every one of my videos and everybody else's. Basically, anybody who's calling out this stuff that Nintendo is doing, and they're acting like we're the problem or something.
Yes, you are. And two, we ain't glazing Nintendo. I don't glaze that. I call it as I see it, but people will say, call me a glazer, so it is what it is. Bruh, you don't have to buy, and because I said before, you don't have to buy a Nintendo Switch console. You don't have to buy a Nintendo Switch console, 2 console, whatever. You don't have to do that. You don't have to buy their games. You could just move on. Like I said before, I don't buy Xbox games, but I don't make tons of videos hating on Xbox. Because they don't have stuff that I think is possible. So why don't y'all do the exact same thing? I mean, I have a PC ready that can play the latest game with alternate graphics, blah, 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 blah. But I don't make a bunch of videos about PC gaming unless it's something I could see tangential to do something. But I don't hate against PC gamers. They say their stuff. Some dumb, some good. If you want to mod games, I mean, go back to my recent video where I had PC gamers came in my comment section. I said, hey, I never said to buy the Switch 2. But if you want to buy a Steam Deck and play your game and mod it, go ahead. And then the person's like, well, I think modding... I mean, modding takes a lot of time. And well, there you go. I like plug and play, simple playing games. You don't. If you want to mod it, go ahead. But if you think, then that's the problem, ain't it?
And they're defending every action of Nintendo as if Nintendo can do no wrong at all.
They could do wrong.
And I was there at one point
No, they
just
could do
as
wrong.
early last year, where I was glazing Nintendo, but I wasn't even doing it to the extent as these glazers that I'm seeing have been doing it. It
Okay,
seems like they
sure.
cannot admit that Nintendo has done something wrong, and that there are some things that just they can't do right. And I'll give you one example just so that you don't think that I'm just saying this to
Okay.
get dirt on them, because I really don't care, honestly.
Really?
They can have their own opinion, but the Nintendo stock drop, let's just take for example.
Yeah.
I got a few views on that video. It hasn't done as well as some of my other ones,
See?
but
It's
people
views.
were saying in my comments section that the Nintendo stock drop is only because of the RAM crisis, and they're calling me some pretty not nice terms.
Because it is. That's what it was. And also, that don't affect Nintendo either. That's just future. They don't have, they're not fully publicly traded like Sony or Microsoft. So the stock doesn't hurt them. I've done a video about this. It don't hurt them as much. It's just taking the futures away from them. That's all. Okay. It dropped. All right. They still make billions of dollars. So what do you want me to say?
And not nice words. I mean, I don't really.
Yeah, good. You don't care what people call you, because I don't care what people call me whenever in that regard. It's just that. But yeah, but still, I mean, don't. Well, I can't say nice words, because when people say something stupid, I will say you're stupid. Easy as that. It's not a nice word, but I gotta call out what is to what is.
Care, honestly. Like I said, they can have their own opinion, I can have mine, but they're acting as if the RAM crisis, which is ultimately the starter for this stock drop, as if it's the only reason that the stock is dropping. And I'm trying to say that it's for other reasons too. Nintendo is particularly volatile at this time.
No, they're not.
Because they've been making so many bad decisions. If they raise the price because of RAM, people are not going to care. Nintendo is still going to get blamed. Even if that directly is not their fault, they're going to get blamed.
Exactly.
Because they started something
Exactly.
that's basically going to come back to bite them, because they made all these stupid decisions.
Really?
And I don't think that Nintendo investors are necessarily the most educated people on what Nintendo has been doing and what fans think
You think they care what? You know what? Whatever.
of Nintendo. They're just hoping to make money.
Basically.
But I do think
It's
that they
either Sony or
know that
Microsoft.
Nintendo has been having PR issues. And I think that that's why the stock is dropping so hard, because it lost 25% of its value
Yeah.
within a couple of weeks
Yeah.
from where it started. And then once the stock started dropping, it lost 25% of its value.
Yeah.
A RAM crisis isn't going to be the only thing to do that, because if Nintendo raises the price of the Switch 2 or one of their consoles in a normal situation, it's going to hurt them, but fans will get over it because there's a reason. But the Switch 2 has just been so sensitive because Nintendo has made so many mistakes that it's not just because of that.
Okay.
And I guess to the Glazers' credit, that is kind of a speculative point that I made, not like
Exactly.
hard truth. But
Exactly.
let's be honest, YouTube is all about speculation. I never said that this was factual, but I said this is probably a reason why Nintendo's
Bruh, why do people, you are literally just doing this to get views. What? Like, you just said something, then you just take it all away. Just let things be, man. Enjoy your games. You don't want to play Nintendo games and stuff like that. If I was you, sell the console. Get the console that you want to get. You just got a PlayStation. Buy some games. Enjoy it. If you think there's going to be games future on for the Nintendo Switch 2, buy it and enjoy it. If you don't think it's worth it, sell it. I mean, I didn't think Shadow the Hedgehog was worth it, so what did I do? I went back and sent the game back, because I was like, well, this is a crappy game. Oh, I don't want this. Just do that. Man.
are backing out so much. But it's not just that. I made another video talking about how the Switch 2 did worse than the PS5, and there were some analysts who were confirming this was the case, and I showed an article on screen.
Yeah, they did. PlayStation 5 did that. You're correct. Cause they had a better sale on their digital. And 80% of people, just like 80% of people buy digital games, bought the PlayStation Digital when it was cheap price. Because what? That's what's gonna help gaming. Y'all say we don't own nothing, but we're gonna buy a console where we don't own nothing. How does that make sense? I don't know.
That actually talked about this, but people were still saying, no, it's the fastest selling console, and the fact that it sold poorly is just because I'm trying to filter out content to make a point, but I really don't care, honestly. From what I
don't think you'll fill out content. It's PlayStation 1 I won. But again, I just explained it right there too. It is the fastest selling console. No offense about that.
Hearing it's really just because the Switch 2 is selling so well in Japan. Japan is loving this thing, but the US isn't as much, and sales are kind of slowing there. And if sales are slowing in the US, it's ultimately going to hurt Nintendo.
Okay.
Slowing in the US, it's ultimately going to hurt Nintendo. But it's still the fastest selling console as of right now because Nintendo heavily front-loaded demand for the month of launch. Yeah. It was the fastest selling console then because Nintendo supplied enough units, which is something they don't usually do at a console launch. And they've been meeting...
No, because they didn't think... Well, okay, you tell me after the Wii U, you think you can predict that the Switch 1 was going to sell that much? No, you did not. They front loaded it down because the Switch 1 sold so good. And again, if the Switch 2 doesn't, the Switch 2 is not going to sell 150 million consoles like the Switch 1. Just ain't. But even Nintendo sold 50 million consoles, which it is what it is. I want to take the games that comes out that looks good enough for me and buy it and move on. That's all I'm going to do. The console will have been a joke, which I got a video about that too. I bought the console because I wanted to see games. I'm playing Metroid, having fun. I'm playing Zelda, Age of Imprisonment, having fun. Playing Mario Kart, having fun. Playing Donkey Kong, having fun. That's the only reason I bought a Switch 2 console, brother. I don't care if I bought a Wii U. It sold only 13 million. You think I care that the Wii U was going? No, I played it because there were good games on that son of a gun. There were great games on it, and I enjoyed it.
Demands like crazy, but I don't think this thing is going to keep going because I think it's overpriced for what Nintendo fans are used to paying. They don't...
To what? People like you are playing. That doesn't mean you are not all the fans, sir.
Care about power or how good the Switch 2 is. They just care that the Switch 2 is more expensive than the Switch by a considerable margin. Yeah. And that's going to be what Nintendo is going to have to deal with. Because you gotta keep in mind that casual gamers are the ones who don't go online and give their opinion. They're the people who just buy something that they can afford and don't ever talk about it. They don't have tons of money lying around to spend on video games. That's why a lot of casual gamers have always gravitated towards Nintendo, because they've prioritized being cheap. But Nintendo is not cheap.
No, Nintendo didn't prioritize cheap. Nintendo prioritized accessibility to their platform. That's a business move. Not cheap, sir. No. Accessibility to their to their ecosystem. That's what it did. Their games are more accessible than PlayStation games, than Xbox games, than PC games. Just is. The entry level to get this stuff. You're thinking about console and everything, but like, I just want, hey, y'all want a plug and play situation? Here you go. You want to play Mario? Mario's the thing that we grew up ourselves on. Here's Mario. Here's Zelda. Here's that. But we don't care. You're gonna, like I said, let's look at it. Let's look at it as you just said. So you want to look at it money wise, right? I already did a video about this already. But PlayStation now, you can get a PlayStation for $400, digital, of course. PlayStation Digital for $400. That's good. You get a console, you have that. Again, you don't own nothing. And here's the funny part about that: you bought a digital console. You would have to go and buy a 200, 300, just like a Nintendo console. You got to buy with the SD cards. You have to buy 200, 300, 400 card. 300. I'll say 300. Let's go with 300 at the highest. Because I bought mine with that. The price has gone up on those too. But you got to buy yourself a terabyte. The highest terabyte that could go on a PlayStation 5 is 4 terabytes, which I have to play games. I am nowhere close to that. You know the reason? I didn't even need the 4 terabyte. Just like my Switch 2, I did a video about this as well. My Switch 2, all the games I'm playing, I still have 200, I think it's 230 gigabytes still free on my Switch because I bought all physical. Imagine that. I bought all physical for my PlayStation as well too. But all the updates and patches and everything for every game, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, all of them, but have it. But I'm just saying that it goes there. I mean, I need to go and see just to see because I have 4 terabytes. I want to see how much space I really do have on my play. I know on the main drive, I think I have like 500 gigabytes left over because I like to do certain things I don't like what they do with PlayStation 5, but it is what it is. And I think I should have 3 terabytes on my hard drive. I don't know though. If someone tell me I'm close to 2 terabytes, and if that's the case, then I'm like, damn, we got a physical game and it's still taking up the chunk. But I digress for the story.
With the Switch 2, and the Switch is still perfectly good for most people. They don't care about specs. They just care that they're having a good time, and the Switch is still a decent console.
It is.
So they're not going to buy a Switch 2.
Good for them.
But these people never bought Nintendo consoles early on in the first place, so it's going to be hard to tell for a while, but I just don't see a world where they start buying a Switch 2 when Mario Kart World is $80, games are $70, and the Switch 2 is $450. Now, if Nintendo makes a budget model like a Switch 2 Lite, maybe it'll change a bit, but Mario Kart World is still $80, and games are still $70 with that being the case anyway. It's priced more like a PS5 than any Nintendo console was priced like a PlayStation console before, and that's going to be an issue for Nintendo. And those are just a couple of the things that Nintendo glazers have been trying to point out, or trying to act like Nintendo didn't do wrong, when in fact, the Switch 2 is just so much different than any other Nintendo console, and Nintendo really is showing their business side. Even if we act like they aren't really that greedy, or the Switch 2 isn't that bad of a deal, two things of which they pretty much are, it was just not that good, at least right now.
Okay.
Until we get some kind of other major game, like a 3D Mario, a 3D Zelda, which I don't think we'll see that for a while.
True.
I don't really even think we'll see a 3D Mario for a while, just because of Donkey Kong Bonanza. And the fact that the Odyssey team worked on Donkey Kong Bonanza is kind of making me think there's not going to be anything anytime soon.
Correct.
Maybe there's an Animal Crossing, but the fact that Nintendo is updating New Horizons is kind of making me think we're not going to see another Animal Crossing. So I just don't see Nintendo making anything that interesting in 2026.
Really?
And the September Direct isn't making me feel any better about that, because that was just such a mid-direct.
Okay.
But I think the biggest point for me that Nintendo is not doing well right now is that I've been playing my PS5 far more than I've been playing my Switch 2. And when
Good
I
for
do
you.
pick up my Switch 2, it's mostly just to play third-party games. I did try out Kirby Air Riders, and for what it is, it seems good, but I haven't really been playing that one that much, because it's just not really my playstyle. Again, Nintendo made a great game here with Kirby Air Riders, but they also made Mario Kart World, 2 racing games. We don't need 2 racing games, we don't even need one. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just fine. I mean, it felt like it was getting a bit older, but it was still great to play. And Nintendo is just going too far one direction, and they're not releasing anything that people really want.
Really?
And what they are releasing is mid or overpriced. The only thing that I think I really enjoyed was Donkey Kong Bonanza, but don't buy a Switch 2 for Donkey Kong Bonanza. It is
No.
not that good. But I think that
It is not-
about
wait,
finishes
what did
my
you enjoy,
Nintendo
but it's
rant
not
for
good to
today.
go-
Let me know down in
Wow.
the comments if you want me to do another one of these.
No, we good. We all right. You basically said that you do this for the money. You do this for the views. So cloud chasing, that's what it is. I'm not giving you no exponential crazy stuff at the end of this video. All right, guys, it is what it is. You don't have to buy a console. Just play the games on any console you want. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy games on all consoles, including PC. Jeez.